Today we are talking about the ultimate power gap, why nobody can match the US military. Join us.
Welcome back to ContinentScope. Today we are zooming in on global firepower, and specifically, we are looking at the most volatile region on Earth, the Middle East. You turn on the news, and what do you see? Massive military parades, thousands of missiles, and huge standing armies. It looks incredibly intimidating, right?
It absolutely does. If you live in that neighborhood, those militaries are terrifying. The Middle East spends billions preparing for conflict. But today on ContinentScope, we are looking at the bigger picture. Because when people compare these Middle Eastern militaries to the United States, they usually just count soldiers and tanks. And that completely misses the point of modern warfare.
Exactly. Modern warfare is not just boots on the ground like it was in World War II. It is air, sea, land, cyber, space, and logistics.
Right, and when you put the US up against the strongest Middle Eastern powers across every single one of those categories, the fight is not just unfair, it is completely one-sided. Today, we are breaking down exactly why nobody can match the US war machine.
Let us start by looking up. The sky. Middle Eastern air forces have a lot of older Russian and Chinese jets, mixed with some really advanced drone technology. They can do some serious damage locally, but how does that stack up against the US Air Force and Navy?
It doesn't. The US does not just have more planes. They operate on a completely different technological timeline. Middle Eastern countries use fourth-generation fighters. The US uses fifth-generation stealth fighters, like the F-35 Lightning and the F-22 Raptor.
And stealth changes everything.
It changes the entire game. A US pilot can see, target, and completely destroy an enemy jet before that enemy even knows they're on a radar screen. It is literally like fighting a ghost. And if we look at bombers, the US has the B-2 Spirit and the new B-21 Raider. These can fly straight through the most advanced air defenses in the Middle East, drop massive payloads, and fly home undetected.
But American dominance goes even higher than that, right? All the way to space.
Absolutely. The US Space Force controls the most advanced military satellite network on the planet. They have real-time, high-definition tracking of every single missile launch, every troop movement, and every ship in the Middle East. The US sees everything instantly. There are no surprise attacks against the United States anymore.
Now, let us move from the stars down to the oceans. Regional powers like Iran rely on fast attack boats and coastal defense missiles. They are trying to guard their coastlines. But the United States does not just guard coastlines. They bring floating fortresses.
You're talking about the aircraft carriers, and this is a massive difference. The US Navy operates 11 nuclear-powered supercarriers. Think about that. No Middle Eastern country has even one. A single American carrier strike group brings more fighter jets, cruise missiles, and radar jamming technology to a coastline than most entire nations have in their whole military.
It is basically a mobile, invincible military base that can park right off your coast?
Exactly, and we cannot forget what is lurking under the water. The US has dozens of nuclear-powered attack submarines. They can sit silently off a Middle Eastern coast for months, completely undetected. If a conflict starts, a single sub can rise to the surface and launch over 100 Tomahawk cruise missiles with absolute precision. Whoever controls the oceans controls the fight. And the US owns the oceans.
Okay, so the US owns the sky, space, and the sea. What about the ground? Middle Eastern countries have millions of troops.
Moving those troops is their biggest weakness. The United States military is built to fight anywhere on planet Earth within 48 hours. They rely on hundreds of massive cargo planes, mid-air refueling tankers, and a network of allied bases already set up right inside the Middle East. Plus, they have a nearly $900 billion defense budget to sustain a high-tech war indefinitely.
And we cannot forget the invisible war, cyber and electronic warfare.
Exactly. Before a single bomb is dropped, the US has already won the digital battlefield. U.S. Cyber Command can instantly blind enemy radars and shut off power grids. Middle Eastern ballistic missiles are incredibly dangerous, but they are utterly useless if American cyber forces hijack the computer systems controlling them.
So, from the bottom of the ocean to the vacuum of space, the United States possesses a level of dominance that remains completely unchallenged.
It really is an entirely different level of power.
That is all the time we have for today on ContinentScope. Hit that subscribe button, leave a like, and let us know what military topic to cover next. See you next time.